Good morning, sweet peeps. Um, this video is about freedom from the roots and how dissolving emotional charge related to clinging and resistance will change thought, feeling over time, identity. We get a lot of teachings about how to reframe our thinking, how to see a situation differently. And that's great work. That's the complement of the work I'm going to talk about this morning. Like, it's great to shift how I see a situation or how I see a pattern or how I see an insight even, and changing perception changes feeling. What is not as often talked about in inner work is how changing the feeling changes thought. And the Sedona method is really great for this. The Sedona method 5-question loop. What's my right now feeling? Could I allow it? Could I let it go? Would I let it go, and when? And then you always return to and end with question 1 with what's the right now feeling. That 5-question loop is just brilliant for this. It's just brilliant for freeing yourself from things that have you not meet the moment, from things that have you cling to a situation or resist a situation, and from things that have you out of touch with your own inner resources, like not really intuitively seeing things the way you can see them when you're operating on all thrusters, when you've got access to being loving, when you've got access to being connected, when you've got access to being grounded, when you've got access to your creativity, being creative, being effective, being receptive, expressive, and aware. And that last one is one of the most shocking ones, is how the limitations show up in being aware. Like, I'm not even really seeing a situation for what it is when I'm operating with that inner peace. I'm not really even responding to the reality of it with relatedness to the reality of it. When I'm operating with that inner peace, when I'm operating from clinging, resisting, when I'm operating from emotional charge. Now, as I've written and shared before, dissolving emotional charge doesn't mean you go to a place of not feeling. It means you actually go to a place of feeling more. Feeling freely, fully, and fluidly. Fluidly means that as the situation changes, you are meeting the moment, you are connected to what is, you're able to adaptively respond instead of reacting. Instead of having it be that I'm responding from the past and the emotional association is causing me. Instead, having it be that I'm causing me and source is causing me. My access to inner resources like space, presence, relatedness, possibilities that are inspiring, of like being loving again, all those possibilities become accessible in the moment to bring to the moment. And, it's not just harmony, it's harmony with creation, it's harmony with resourcefulness. I'm glowing about this experience that I'm having right now because what's happened is I applied my newer context of putting peace before love to a situation where I've been loving, I've absolutely been accepting, I've absolutely been pretty resourcefully responsive, and I've been enjoying the situation. But my steps that I've been taking, my intentions that I've been setting, or exploring anyway, haven't been meeting the moment. They haven't been really in harmony with what's actually happening. And in putting peace before love, I noticed that though I was being loving, I didn't have inner peace about it. I had a sense of urgency when it wasn't appropriate. I had a dedication to intention. That's great. It's great to be unstoppable sometimes, to have it be that, I'm going to be caused in the matter of life. Harmony isn't going to, if you've got real complete access to your resources, it's not just about harmony. Harmony is just a starting point. And then from harmony, all your resources kick in and you can make a difference. Harmony lets you be with what is, and then your creation ability, your effectiveness, your self-expression step in to add to that harmony. Okay, let's get a little more concrete. I also talk about likes and dislikes as being static beliefs in a static identity, having static feelings. Like likes and dislikes are just such a normal thing that we're taught, from the tiny age, when you're a little kid and somebody asks you, "So dear, what's your favorite color?" You're taught that you have static feelings, and that static feeling is something you're supposed to believe in, and it's a belief about yourself. Oh, I have a favorite color. I must experience more joy around blue than I do around green. And guess what? It's so limiting. Get to the point where you release those beliefs and likes and dislikes, where you can respond in the moment. And guess what? There's some times when green is amazing. And there's some times where blue is just kind of, okay, that blue's not much. But you go about life believing in your favorite color, which is really a belief about a static feeling that your static identity has, and it's a static belief, and it's much better when you get to the place where you can respond to the moment of what am I doing right now, and you can respond to a sense of yourself as possibility. Like, who I am is loving and connected and grounded in this moment. And being loving, connected, and grounded in this moment, I'm enjoying this thing that surprises me. And I've got this new choice I'm making in my life. Like, for example, I've discovered that sometimes I can turn on an exercise video for 30 seconds and just do that for 30 seconds. And it's surprisingly enjoyable, and it strengthens the act of will. And this is a whole new enjoyment that out of being open and loving and grounded and connected in the moment, I'm discovering new enjoyments because I didn't have it that I had a static like or static dislike that my static identity was having and that I was having a static belief about. I gave up likes and dislikes around the situation and met the moment and discovered a new enjoyment. And so, to put it very simply, because I know that I talk about all these resources, space, presence, relatedness, and possibility, and all the possibilities of being, the 8 that I usually list. And to really have it be simple, use love. Just use love. Just look at, okay, is this choice loving right now? Because love turns out to have a lot of joy in it. Is this choice going to be loving for my body? Is this choice going to be loving for me emotionally? Does this choice feel like it's got loving intuition in setting this intention? Which of these intentions seems to have the most love in it? Which one of these intentions might not have the most love in it, but maybe it's loving and grounded, or maybe it's loving and inspiring, or maybe it's loving and empowering. And to have it be that the possibilities beings can mix. So it's not just about what's most loving. It's not just about quantity. It's also about quality, like the integration and balance of my possibilities. Peace is a space that contains all these resources for being, so that you're not just living on a path that's linear about what choosing the right doing, but you're living on a landscape of resources for being. And peace is a big enough space to contain all of that. So when you're dissolving emotional charge to get to peace, it's not because you're getting rid of feelings. It's because you get to peace as a big container, peace as the big box in which other things can be contained. Eckhart Tolle, the author of The Power of Now, writes this in his chapter, Beyond Happiness and Unhappiness, there is peace. Peace lets you kind of witness all these other feelings when you've got peace as the open space in which they're happening. And so, what happened was, when I allowed and released, using the Sedona Method 5-question loop, these emotional charges that became newly apparent for me when I looked at what inner peace was, what happened was I realized that I had all these likes and dislikes defined around this situation, and started seeing that they weren't really meeting the moment. Like, yeah, sure, sometimes I really enjoy that. That's true. Some of that like and dislike was absolutely right, was absolutely valid, or absolutely a match for the situation. But some of it was like operating from memory rather than operating from present day reality. And I start seeing this whole pattern getting freed, starting from the roots. Like having dissolved the likes and dislikes, having dissolved emotional charge to inner peace, it starts from there, and that's like the whole plant starts to shift. I'm growing new roots, and the old roots are kind of not there, but the rest of the pattern slowly gets shifted. And I'm seeing myself where I've been out of harmony with the situation, starting to now apply the material from Carolyn Elliott from her book Existential Kink, where she talks about you can even turn disappointment into enjoyment when you embrace the point of contact, like embrace and even enjoy the point of contact with the experience. There's if it's a disappointment, which it wasn't really a disappointment in this situation, it was just not in harmony, not meeting the moment. So to have it be that I'm really enjoying this moment responsively and flowingly. Forgive me if this seems like this video is rambling on. It's just there's so many elements of how this is freeing me and empowering me to meet the moment out of this one little dissolving of likes and dislikes, the dissolving of emotional charge to inner peace. And it's just fascinating. It's fascinating watching how dissolving emotional charge creates this situation where the pattern is freed up from the roots. And I'm just seeing so much of myself change around this actually this work that I did last weekend. It's fascinating. So in summary, I highly recommend playing with replacing likes and dislikes with intuitive in the moment choices. Like instead of looking at whether I like and dislike in that situation, to instead look at, okay, what feels like it's love, or if you've already played with love a lot and you're in an inner peace landscape where you're dealing with resources for being, then you've got a lot of questions you can play with, like what's grounded about this, what could be creative here, what's to be enjoyed in this moment, just by embracing the point of contact, enjoying the point of contact of up, down, left, right, light and dark, all of it, just embracing and enjoying the point of contact in this right now moment. Thank you, Carolyn Elliott, for your insights about embracing the point of contact. Thank you, and I highly recommend the book Existential Kink. Thank you to the Sedona method for teaching the emotional chart, ag flap cap, where love isn't the final step in freeing myself. Peace is much closer to a free landscape of possibilities. Thank you for A Course in Miracles for teaching, inner peace is your only goal, which, as much as A Course in Miracles says, teach love for that's who you are, it also teaches inner peace is your only goal. This message of putting peace before love has been around my life for decades, and I just never saw it as this priority of putting peace before love before. And it's shaken out in so many different ways. It's really, so I know this video has gone all over the place, and if you follow it or at least be with it, I'm putting a bunch of pieces together, and it's all showing up as, you dissolve an emotional charge, and what that's doing is it's freeing yourself up in a pattern by dissolving the roots first. The roots are in the emotional charge, and then and then your beliefs and your thoughts and your patterns and your likes and dislikes and your identity all start to shift just from dissolving the emotional charge. And that's my share. Hope you enjoyed it or got something out of it. Be well, peeps.